Bert, Frank, we have a little problem.
Welcome to Horror Month. Welcome back, horror fans! It's 2018, it's Horror Month, it's the month you've been waiting all year for. I know me and Vince wait all year to do this, and we are bringing to you tonight a absolute classic, and that is Return of the Living Dead.
And of course, we have to ask you guys, do you want a party?
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
It's party time!
That's pretty frightening, man.
The Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty scary.
Do you want a party?
It's not a bad question, Bert.
You can't say Return of the Living Dead without including that anywhere.
Now, this was released by Scream Factory, what, 3 years ago? And we've been trying to get this into Horror Month for 3 years. And we actually recorded it last year and ran out of time to edit for you. And I still had mine, and then Vince lost his copy, so now we got to do it all over for this year. So this is 3 years in the making, people.
This is actually the perfect time because Night of the Living Dead... I was going to say because Return of the Living Dead Part 2 just came out from Scream Factory.
I'll be okay.
So it actually was the best thing that we waited.
Oh.
Do you want a party?
Sounds like somebody's partying pretty hard over there. Now, what were you even talking about?
Return of the Living Dead.
This right here is my all-time favorite zombie film. So if anyone asks me, hey, what is your all-time favorite zombie movie? I'm like,
It's not a bad question, Bert.
bam, right here, buddy. Return of the Living Dead.
No, it's all right, Frank. I'll take your word for that.
It's not Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. It's not George Romero's Living Dead or Land of Dead. No, it's Return of the Living Dead.
Bam, right here, buddy.
And do you want a party?
Why don't you open the door and find out?
And don't give me any crap about it, because this is it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so Return of the Living Dead. Yes, this is also one of my all-time favorite zombie films. And I say it that way, not because I think this is any less. I think this is one of the greatest zombies films. But I say it that way because George A. Romero, I mean, he's the master of the zombie film. He's the one that created the zombie film and made it what it is. And if it wasn't for him doing that, we wouldn't even have this. So, there you go.
All right, so I got a nightmare time for this one, Vince. Way back in the day, before the internet, I know a lot of people were like, wait a minute, there used not to be an internet? Yeah, there hasn't been the internet forever. It hasn't existed forever. But I was watching Channel 11 News, and I was in my bedroom, lights turned off, and I don't know why Channel 11 News was on, but they had it on, and they were showing the movies that were coming out that week, and Return of the Living Dead was one of them. And they showed the clip of where the guy gets into the ambulance and he turns the lights on in the ambulance and it lights up all the zombies in front of him. And then he gets attacked, and then it cuts to the zombie getting into the ambulance, and he says,
Send more paramedics.
when I saw that, I was like, I have to see this movie. I was still young at the point. I wasn't old enough to get into the theater, but I was like, that was my first experience seeing this. I was like, I gotta go.
Is that it?
No.
That the end?
It's not a bad question, Bert.
No. I ended up going...
Oh.
I ended up going to the movie theater, And I was tall for my age even back then, so a lot of times I could get into R-rated films without them questioning me, even though I was like, however old I was. I was still in my teenage years. And so they let me in the theater. And this was one of the very few, very rare movies that it was R-rated I got to go in to see. And I was stoked. Because I would literally get on a bus, drive to the movie theater, try to go see an R-rated film like...
You drove the bus?
What?
You drove the bus?
Bluff-Tony. Bluff-Tony.
No, I rode the bus.
Oh, you said you got on the bus and you drove to the movie theater.
Bluff-Tony.
No, I rode it to the movie theater. Don't get all weird on me, Vince.
Bluff-Tony.
You drove the bus.
Okay, I drove the bus to the movie theater, and then I'd get off the bus. So anyway, I got to the movie theater, and I would do this all the time. And I have a story about Reanimator. I think I told it when I did the review, but I tried to get into Reanimator, and I told him I wanted to go see Remo Williams instead, got the ticket, and then tried to sneak in to see Reanimator, and there was ushers literally standing outside the door, and they were looking at your tickets when you went in. So me getting into this was like, oh man, this was amazing for me. Sat down, and this is one of the, probably the only movie I think I went to go see that people were laughing so loud through this entire film, I missed half the dialogue. I couldn't hear half the dialogue in this movie because they were laughing. I mean, everybody was just uproarious laughter through this entire film watching this thing. It was an amazing experience. That was it.
That's it? That's it? You're done?
Then I got back on the bus and I drove home.
Bluff-Tony.
My only story to this is just that I remember seeing the trailer for this on television, the TV spot, actually.
They're back from the grave and ready to party.
I think things are getting out of hand.
The return of the living dead.
I remember seeing that over and over and over again and going, oh my god, that looks absolutely fantastic. I want to go see it. That's pretty much my story for it.
Alright, so one of the reasons this works so well is it's very, very difficult to make a movie that is scary, that is horrifying, that is gross, and making it funny too, and having that real thin line of mixture between being funny but not being stupid funny. And this is it. This is the perfect example for a movie that just rode that line through the whole movie. And I'd never seen a movie to this day really that had like punk rockers in it and had such great music in it and had such great writing in it and had such great actors in it and such great special effects in it. Everything about this movie is unbelievably great. Everything about it.
The other thing I wanted to see this movie for is because it had Linnea Quigley in it. And at that time, David and I were becoming huge Linnea Quigley fans.
Oh yeah, I would see any movie that she was in. I even seen the Slime Ball Bowl. What the fuck was that? Sorority Girls and the
Stupid asshole! Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job! Like this job!
Sorority Girls and the Slime Ball Bolorama. I would watch all the stuff that she was in.
Yeah, Night of the Demons.
Chainsaw Hookers.
It also had the guy who eventually became Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th Part 6. And that was Tom Matthews. And he was just fantastic in this movie. Playing the part of Freddy, of course.
Yeah, and him and his boss, the guy that plays his boss, I love that actor. I love that actor. He is so good in this movie. Can't think what his name is now. But he was so good. And like I said, all the young guys, all the young people in this film, all the guys and the women, they were so good. Spider and Suicide and all those characters were just amazing. And this is a very quotable film. I still quote this movie to this day. When somebody says something, I'll be saying, "That's not a bad question, Bert." And they look at me like, "What are you talking about?" I say that all the time, and people have no idea what I'm talking about.
I love that line.
What do you think this is? A costume? This is a way of life.
The one line that me and my friend Robin used all the time from this, was, You better watch your mouth if you don't. I gotta remember how it goes again.
Stupid asshole! Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job! Like this job!
Yeah, that thing was just hilarious. We just cracked up. We used that all the time when we worked at Ponderosa together. It was freaking hilarious. And like you know, nobody would know what we were talking about.
So what's in the bags? Rabid weasels. What? Rabid weasels? I mean, and then it's like, listen. And he's like, what does that sound? It's dead people screaming. Just stuff. I mean, it's like, there's so many great quotes in this movie. I mean, I get...
How about this one? I think rigor mortis is setting in.
Rigor mortis?
Rigor what?
And then one of the funniest scenes, I think, in the whole movie, and I don't know why it cracks me up so bad, and again, I say this all the time, is when, I think his name is Spider, the guy holding a baseball bat, and the thing is on the table, and she's like, going, brains, 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 brains. He's like, I'm going to bust it in the damn head. You know, it's just like, I just love that scene. It just cracks me up. But yeah, it's just so, so amazing. And of course, the main one here that everybody says is, brains. Brains. I mean, that was the Tar Man. That character in this film, that is how you do a freaking zombie. That is just the way that actor moved, and it was slimy and drippy, and it was just, I personally think it's still one of the best zombies ever put on film, and love the Tar Man. I think he was just phenomenal in this movie.
Other than Do You Want to Party, like I said in the beginning of this, anybody hears Return of the Living Dead, it's almost like you hear that song instantly. You instantly go back to that song and that line from that song. You might not even know the rest of the whole song, but that line always comes up. Everybody says either that or more brains. You know, those are like the two lines that come whenever you talk about Return of the Living Dead. Those are the two lines that come up the most.
And I mentioned how great the acting was, and the writing, and the comedy, and the effects. Got to talk about the music in this film. The music is what made this movie so cool. Because again, you've never seen a horror movie with this kind of music in there. And Scream Factory managed to, I think, almost get every song back in the film, except for one. I think there's only one song in the film they weren't able to get back in there. But all the original music is pretty much back in this film again.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad they were able to do that. I wish they could have got that last song, whichever song it was. I wish they could have got it back and put it back into the film and have the film be completely intact like that. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care because I also have the soundtrack to this. And the soundtrack is phenomenal. So even when you hear the songs in the movie, they're great. But when you actually get to hear the songs completely, they're phenomenal. They're like Do You Want to Party? Or Party Time is actually what it's called, by 45 Grave. Then there's The Surfing Dead. I love that song, and that's when they go into the chapel area, and they're boarding up the chapel and everything so that the zombies don't come through the windows. And all you hear is, there's nothing at the movie show when you're dead. I absolutely love that song. It's just freaking phenomenal.
I think everybody is stunned by your singing voice now, Vince. I mean, I know it's horror month and all, but I know everybody's out there is like, wow, I didn't know Vince could actually sing.
I love that song. I love that song. And then there's another song in there that's also phenomenal. And it's when Frank is the guy that you were talking about.
Hey, Vince, bust it out. Do it, Vince.
All right. Well, Frank is incinerating himself because he doesn't want to die by zombies eating him or anything like that. So he pulls out the incinerator. He pulls out the shelf and he gets on the incinerator and goes to. And the whole time, they're playing the song "Burn the Flames," and it's just phenomenal. So burn the flames, higher and higher. It's just an awesome song.
Well, it is horror month after all. We warned you.
Yep, we're getting weird.
And not just the actual singing music in the film, the instrumental stuff. awesome. As soon as you hear that start, you know it's Return of the Living Dead. It's just great instrumental music in this film too.
I think somewhere they actually did do a score to this film, but I know it's long out of print, and so is the soundtrack itself. It's kind of hard to find. They did reissue it a few years ago, but again, it's out of print. You can't find it. It's hard to find.
And obviously, we need to give this thing a rating because there are like literally 2 discs worth of extras in this thing, and we're going to get to them this year. We're not going to wait 3 more years to get to the reviews, to the extras. So obviously, I mean, I don't really even need to give a rating. It's the greatest zombie film ever made. Okay, it's a Golden Machete.
Yeah, well, I mean, that comes from me too. I'm going to burn the flames, and I'm going to party time with the Golden.
All right, here we go. We got to get to the extras. This is hopefully I'm going to try to get through them as fast as possible because there's so many. So let's do it.
Okay, all you horror maniacs out there. Vince here. Hey, listen, I hate to do this to you guys, but I actually do have to split this video up. Otherwise, it's going to be about 3 hours long. So I was trying to put it all together as one video, but it's just not going to work that way. So what I'm going to do is split the video up, and you're going to have to look for another video that is Return of the Living Dead extra features. And it's our review of all the extra features that are on the Scream Factory edition of Return of the Living Dead. So look for that video, and please give us a watch on that. And after you're done watching that video, and since you've already watched this one, please give us a subscribe and a like, and leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you thought of the review or Return of the Living Dead or what have you. Whatever you choose to write down there. And we'd really, really appreciate that. Also, we are selling Box Office Maniacs t-shirts, as well as Horror Month t-shirts. So look for the link down below in the description box, and you can go and buy one of our t-shirts that we've been wearing all throughout these videos. So thanks again for tuning in to Horror Month 2018 here at Box Office Maniacs, and we'll see you next time.